Good day, everyone. My name is Ulyss, and today I have the privilege of having Miss Skully with me. Special guest, Miss Skully, how you doing?
I'm good.
To have you.
Hello.
Can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself, who you are?
My name is Roshawn Bedford, otherwise known as MizzSkully.B. I am a warrior. I have Sickle Cell SS, also a whole other host of medical issues, but we all know how that goes. But yeah, that's a little about me. I just turned 38 the day before World Sickle Cell Day. That was my birthday, nice. So yeah.
Happy belated.
Thank you.
So can you tell me a little bit about, your experience in the emergency room? What can you give me like a good experience, a bad experience? If you have any recent hospitalization, what can you think about? Like when you think about going to the ER, how's that going for you? Like what goes to your mind?
Going through my mind, going to the ER, it is all bad, to be honest. Mm-hmm. There have been so many bad experiences in ERs with me that I've almost died like a few times because I didn't want to go to the ER just that bad. Not the crisis, just the trip going there, because for me, sometimes it's more stress than the crisis itself, just going through some of the mistreatment that we face in hospitals.
When you talk about stress, like what are the stressors that you get when you think about going to the ER? Do I not look sick enough even though I am sick? Mm-hmm. If I wear makeup, are they gonna think that I'm not sick? Mm-hmm. If I ask for the meds that I know are gonna help me, are they gonna think I'm just drug seeking because, you know so much? Mm-hmm. Am I going to have pushback when said meds, work better than what they're trying to give me when I know it's not gonna work, So just those sound like basic things to normal people, but in our community, we both know those little things can lead to our death if they're not properly handled in the ER. Which providers you get more difficulty with? Is it the nurses? Is it the doctors? Is it both? Is it everyone? Like how does that work for you?
For the most part, I'll say it's the doctors. A lot of nurses, I can't say all of them because there are some bad nurses, sad to say, but it's more so the doctors for me. I've had a lot of nurses that have tried to go to bat for me, that have tried talking to the doctors. It's the doctors 9 times out of 10.
Okay. And one of the challenges that you face is that the doctor's not listening to you? Don't
listen. And it really ticks me off when doctors feel like because they're doctors or because, I went to school for this, that supersedes what I know about my body. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because I guarantee you, I don't care how much schooling you have, unless you have this disease or you know someone with it personally, and even if you know them, unless you have watched them on a daily basis go through what we go through, then your schooling means nothing to me. It doesn't. At that point, all I'm concerned about is, can you help me? Okay, you can. Well, will you help me?
Yeah. So in your experience, what do you think is needed in the ER to change things?
I think there needs to be a very, very honest dialogue between the doctors and the nurses and the warriors. And just to make another point though, it doesn't start in the ERs. You know what I'm saying? Like these doctors, they go to school, these nurses, they go to school. I actually attended a class with, a friend of mine. He had to do a project on sickle cell. Well, he had to do a project on, you know, a disease or illness of his choice. So him knowing me and what I deal with, he decided to do his on sickle cell. So I came and I presented a spoken word piece that I did about sickle cell to his whole class. And I stayed for the rest of their, you know, presentations. And when I say they knew nothing, they knew nothing. So it's almost like we can't actually blame the nurses in the ERs because they literally aren't being taught. They aren't being taught what they need to know. And the doctors, it's like it doesn't matter even if the nurses know, if the doctors aren't willing to listen to them. You know?
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
What would you attribute, like, you know, the challenge that we face when we go to ER? Like, because like when you look at it, is it strictly the illness itself that represent a challenge, or if there's any other factors that represent a challenge?
In the ER in itself, I don't think it's the illness, because with the proper treatment, our illness wouldn't be that much of a problem if we didn't face so much mistreatment, judgment, and you know, ignorance in the healthcare field, in the ERs or whatever. This is what I meant by it needs to be a very honest dialogue, because you know, we are seen as drug seekers. Everywhere. This isn't just the States, this is all over the world. We are seen as drug seekers, okay? But to keep it fair, you know, I used to be a drug seeker. I used to be a drug addict, but I didn't start out that way. So when they ask me that now, or they make that assumption or that judgment, I literally have to give them grace and also myself.
I wanted to clarify. There's a difference between a drug addict and a drug dependency. Somebody that is dependent on drug. Because we are dependent on drug to be able to survive because of our illness.
Oh, I know the difference.
It's not that you know what I mean? It's like there's people that are literally addicted. Like when you're addicted, that means you cannot do without it. Right. You cannot control yourself. Like, it's beyond your control, right?
Yes.
So when a lot of the medication that we number one, a doctor had to prescribe you the medication for you to be addicted in the first place, right?
Exactly.
So you didn't give yourself those medication, you didn't give yourself those dosage, so it's like it came over time. So if you're in your 30s, you start getting pain meds, I don't know, whatever age it was. For me, I was start getting pain meds, I was 4 years old.
I was 2.
So from 2 to, you said how old you are now?
38.
From 2 to 38, there's no way you're gonna be on the same dosage. It's gonna go, you know what I mean? Because like the more you take, the higher the dose gonna go.
Exactly,
you know, over
because
time,
your tolerance,
right?
it grows. It grows.
So all of those things people have to take that in consideration to understand that if you go to the general public, somebody broken like a limb or whatever, and they go to the ER, they give them 2 milligrams of morphine. You go to the ER with a sickle cell crisis, 2 milligrams of morphine is not going to do nothing for you. Whether you can take morphine or not, but I'm just giving it as an example. Some people are allergic to morphine, they have to use some other drug.
That's me.
So now you have to figure out, like, you know, in the same thing, the same dosage from that drug has to be higher than the regular folks because you've been taking drugs since you were 2 years old.
Yes.
So it's just a simple comprehension that they have to get and understand. And I'm looking at, as an example, people that have cancer, terminal phase. They give them, like, whatever the amount of drugs that they want, they give it, no problem.
Yes.
So why can't they do the same thing for us or similar? I'm not telling you, like, you know, to give people drugs to overdose, overdose them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you know, you have to do things with the consent and information from the patient, because you know your body, you know what you've been going through, you know what works for you, you know what don't work. The number one thing is if they can listen. By them listening and execute what we ask, a lot of things will be easier, right?
Yes, a lot of time will be saved in hospitals and the ERs, everything. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most, because we're, you know, seen as these drug seekers. Oh, you're only here for the drugs, you know, you've been here for a week. Okay, well, sweetie, if you would give me the drugs that I'm asking you for from day one in the ER, I wouldn't need to be here a week later. We could have saved all of this time. but that goes in one ear and out the other.
But and sometimes what you could do is like you do that reverse thing on them, because like, do you really think that the hospital is the best place to get drugs?
Exactly, and
you can get drugs out the street. Like what would I go to the hospital to all the mistreatment to get drugs when I could get down the street? I pay you, you give me my drugs and everything. You go your business. It's like that don't make any logical sense.
I've told so many doctors and nurses, do you really think I would need to come all the way here to get drugs? Seriously, and I don't do any hard drugs. This is a disclaimer, but. Do you really think that I couldn't get whatever it is I needed without coming here, dealing with you, and you too, and all of the, judgment and side-eyeing? You think we want to deal with that?
So because when you look at it that way, like, it doesn't make like, and then the hospital is not a club.
Oh my God, that just brought back memories.
It's not a place for you to have fun or anything like that. So it's like, I don't understand that concept where when you come in that they don't understand that you actually really need help, because you will do everything you can to manage it at home.
Exactly.
You don't want to have to
if I'm here, that means I have already done everything that I can at home, and not just today. That's probably weeks leading up to me going to the ER. But I'll never forget, because you just brought back another memory. When I was transitioning from pediatrics to adults or whatever, and this is when like my freshman year in college, I was still, going back to my children's hospital or whatever. You could go all the way to you're 18 or whatever. And I'll never forget, a doctor there told me, this is after I had turned 18, but they were still seeing me because I didn't have, rapport with any of the doctors at the other hospital, the adult hospital yet. And so this doctor literally told me, this isn't a hotel. And I'm sitting there like, you're right. Because hotels are enjoyable. You can actually get rest in hotels. You don't have to worry about doctors and nurses coming sticking you. And I'm not just talking about one or two nurses coming to stick you at 5 a.m. I'm talking about whole teams of lab techs that can't get blood. So you're just woke while they're trying to stick you. No, you're right. It's not a hotel. You think I need you to tell me that? I was so irritated. Even in the ER. This another time. This was in one of the more prominent hospitals in the medical center here. I don't know if you know. You do know. I do know. Brittany Hightower.
Yes.
We all were in the same support group.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she passed away.
Exactly. She did. God rest her soul. That broke my heart, because she easily could have been me. She was me in so many other instances. When I saw that video, it flashed back to me in that hospital with security in my room surrounding me, trying to escort me off the premises, and I'm literally in one of the worst crises I had been in years. And a nurse came in there with, the security and the doctor or whatever, and she told...
Can you give the people a little background about the Brittany's story, because for those who don't know.
Okay, so Brittany Hightower, she was a sickle cell warrior. She died this past December or last December because she went to the hospital for treatment. She was turned away. She was mistreated horribly. And she died later on because she didn't get the treatment that she needed, even though she begged with her life, for her life, to get the treatment that she needed and did not get it. I have been there. And the nurse came in the room and told me to stop acting like trash.
Wow. Yeah, that one shocked me, because I spoke to Brittany like about, I think, a week or two before she passed.
Same.
And I know she was in a hospital when I spoke to her. And the good thing about Brittany, she's always in a good mood. She's always
exactly.
Try to take something positive, even in a bad situation. She'll talk to you. You won't even know that she's sick or she's in the hospital. It's it's afterward I hear the beep, the pump, and
you're in the hospital.
And I'm like, yeah, and the thing about she's always pampered, looking good, looking fresh, have her nails done, her hair did, everything, even when she's in the hospital bed. And I'm like, like I was really shocked. It hurt me really bad because I spoke to her like about a week or two before, and then when I saw on Facebook that she passed away, I'm like, are you serious? Like, can people like seriously? Like, I had to contact a few people to find out really what happened, and it was like it's heartbreaking. Like, you know, stories like that. Things like that should not happen. Like not in 2023. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you shouldn't have to go through that. So just explain to them like what happened. It's like,
it was unnerving because you know, she and I had just kind of connected through, you know, the support group or whatever. Yeah. I loved her because she did poetry. I do poetry. That's how we connected. You know, along with the sickle cell. And so she had reached out to me. Maybe this was literally days before her death. Okay. And I was busy doing something and I didn't get, you know, the phone call or whatever. So I went back maybe 3 days later and I sent her a message like, hey sis, you know, I see you called or whatever, you know, hey, I missed it, you know, hit me up when you get a chance. At this point, I didn't know she was already gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I didn't find out until they announced it in our support group meeting. And the way it happened, the way it happened was so freaky to me because literally as I was like looking through the participants in that Zoom meeting that night, I was looking for her because I wanted to connect with her like, hey girl, you know, you were calling me the other week, what was going on, you know? And as I was looking for her in the meeting, Deanna is like, so we want to send, you know, special prayers in heaven for our sister Brittany Houghton. I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? So that was bad enough. I didn't know how she died. I just knew she had died. I didn't find out until maybe a week and a half later from one of my other best friends. She lives in Houston too. She also has sickle cell. She's where she stays sick a lot too. And she goes to that same hospital that gave me all of those problems the way they did Brittany. And that's like her hospital of choice. And I'm like, no. But anyway, I digress. So it was so crazy because she told me, she was like, Sean, there are videos. She's like, there are videos of how bad they did her. She is crying for her life. And she actually told me not to watch them. And I didn't. It took me some months to even be able to watch them because at that point it was already so many
She
other...
posted it on Facebook?
Yes, she did. She posted it on Facebook. And that was the reason she told me not to watch. She's like, I'm gonna post it on Facebook because this needs to be seen.
And she's just sitting there doing nothing while I'm in pain. I don't care. I asked for the charge nurse. Don't touch my phone. Don't touch me or my phone! Get off of me! Get off! Get off! Stop it! Stop! Don't touch my phone! Get off of me!
But you don't watch it. And when I finally did watch it and I heard in her voice the pain, begging for her life, like that broke me. Like that was me so many times. So many times I left one hospital and went to another hospital where they told me, had you not come here tonight, you would have died. Multiple times that's happened to me with the same scenario, with security and everything. And it's sad. That's the treatment that we face that makes us not want to go to the ERs. Sorry.
So, yeah, thank you. Take your time. If there's a call to action to people that are watching us and that hear the story, what would you want them to take out of that?
If you see something, say something. Speak up, because there are a lot of warriors that want to, but they can't. They either don't have the strength, they don't have the words, or they're just at their wits' end. Or they don't want to rock the boat, like, okay, whatever treatment that I could possibly get, I don't want to jeopardize that. No, say something. Even if you're not a warrior, especially if you're not a warrior, you're not in the community, because for some reason, everyone else's word, it carries more weight than ours. It carries more weight, which is why we need people to go with us to the ER.
Exactly. That's what I was going to add. It's like, as a warrior, the most important thing I would say, when you go to the ER, do not go by yourself.
No.
Because a lot of the times, like we've been going through so much before we get to the ER. Sometimes when we get to the ER, we literally have nothing else to give. We are empty.
Yes.
And
I can't
sometimes
fight
we cannot even
this disease, and you too.
Yeah, you cannot fight, you cannot talk. Like, you need somebody to speak for you. Go with somebody. Be able to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. Ask for somebody to go with you.
Yes.
Because, mind you, if there was somebody with you, a lot of things would have been different. Because sometimes the mistreatment is different when you're not alone. When you're alone, it's like it's easier for them to gangbang on you, like literally,
yes.
like for using that expression.
Yeah.
So when you have somebody with you, the person, like it's now the person can give you some strength.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can start talking for you.
And also they're a
help
witness.
you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They're a witness. I advocate for another warrior friend of mine. He's from the Bahamas, but he moved to Canada. And so I advocate for him in Canada, whatever. There have been many nights he's called me 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Sean, I need you to advocate for me. Can you please talk to these people? And I'll call, say what I need to say to who I need to say it to. Sometimes that's multiple somebodies.
Yeah.
And 10 or 15 minutes later, he's messaging me like, what did you say to them? Like, they moving and grooving now.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care when it is, but when I call you, things get done, things happen. And I told him it's because they will try their best to take advantage of you being alone.
Yeah.
But once they see that you have someone supporting you, or someone that they have to answer to for you, things change.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if you're in a whole nother country and they hear a Texas accent, things are gonna change.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I wanted to thank you for giving us the time to chop it up with us. I really congratulate you for the work that you do in the community, and keep up the good work, keep fighting. We need warriors like you, to keep the fight, keep hope alive, and eventually we'll overcome and we'll change the system.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, fellas. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Whoa!
Dang!
Right on time.
Right on time. That was crazy. Look, it cut for you.